Hello, it's Ash and welcome back to my channel where today we're going to focus on our feet and in particular plantar fasciitis. So if you've ever had that pain in your heel area, the stabbing in your foot, if you're starting to feel that, let's get on top of it. If you're coming back from that injury, make sure you speak to your physio or your doctor so that you are able to do this session. And if you're not experiencing this pain, well done for being here and being proactive and rehabilitating your body, making your body strong and resilient so that we don't ever have to face plantar fasciitis. So I might go out of shot in a moment, but what we're going to do is we're going to make a start by standing your right foot into the floor. And what we're going to do is spread your actually lift your toes up and spread your toes as wide as you can away from each other. And now land them slowly back on the mat so they're really nice and fanned out. And push the toes and the balls of the big toes, so the knuckly part, into the floor. And then what we're going to do is we're going to start to elevate the heel and then bring it back down. So we're just going to lift up and then push back down. But what we're focusing on is really pushing the big toe and the knuckle of the big toe, so the ball of the big toe, down into the floor as we do this. And slowly breathe, relax the body. It might feel a little bit tense and maybe a bit tender. Don't ever push into pain that's quite painful. Okay, so if you're experiencing severe pain, you need to stop and make sure again you speak to your physio or your doctor. But what this is doing is it's working on that big toe muscle that goes from the big toe into the arch of the foot. So we're really pushing the big toe in and then starting to stretch and flex the big toes as well as the arch of the foot as we do that. And you might start to expand the range of motion now by lifting the heel a bit further, but really pushing the big toe into the floor. Again, make sure, ask yourself the question, is this causing me pain? If it is, don't go too far. Make the motion smaller, lift the heel up less. Keep breathing as we do this. So this basically is the motion that our toes and our foot and then the arch of our foot should be able to do comfortably without pain. And if you're experiencing no pain, that's super. Well done for being here and working on making this more elastic, more supple and more injury resilient. So keep breathing as we do this. Again, make sure every time we push the big toe into the floor as we lift the heel up. Last one. And then just pause for a moment. So we should feel a little bit of work or maybe a lot of work into the arch of the foot and into the big toe. And that's, again, the right areas that we was working on there, if we was feeling it in there. Stretch the toes out on the left foot, then fan the toes, so it's like you're fanning them out, and then really push the toes into the floor, the big toe, the toes and the balls of the toes, but especially the big toe, okay? And now what we're going to do is we're going to lift that heel, we start small, and then bring it back down again. So same thing, we're just stretching and flexing the toes and the arch of the foot, but we cannot passively stretch them. We've got to be active by pushing the big toe into the floor, so that really activates that big toe muscle that goes into the arch of the foot. So if we start to feel some fatigue in the arch of the foot, we know that we're activating the right muscle. Okay, so keep breathing as we do this. So all we're doing is we're strengthening and stretching the big toe and the arch of the foot, which should be doing the job of the other muscles that are taking the brunt of it, and in particular the fascia, the plantar fascia, which is basically the connective tissue that looks like a sort of cling film that goes over the muscles and tendons and stops everything sort of mushing into each other. But that fascia has, I don't know I can't remember the details, but it has a lot more nerves and nervous connection than actual muscle and tendon tissues. So it can feel a lot more tender and a lot more painful. It gets inflamed, it can get damaged. In really bad cases, it can sort of split. So we want to keep that strong, resilient, supple, elastic. And we can only do that by working on it. Okay, we're lifting the heel up a little bit more now. Again, it's a really focused session, this one, so it might feel like we do not a great deal. of like variety, but it's really sort of focused. Again, just stretch those legs out or give them a little shake. And then notice which side feels weaker, or do they feel about the same? I'm going to come down onto your bum. Okay, what we're going to do is bend the knees, and we're going to place the right ankle area onto the left thigh. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take hold of that right big toe, and we're going to stretch the big toe backwards until the point we can feel again maybe a 7 out of 10 stretching the arch of the foot into the big toe muscle. And then we're just going to release it. So just going to pull and then release. Nice and slow, again nice, and you can see as you pull, you can see the arch of the foot, you can see it raise, and that's again what happens. That's the shock absorber. The arch of the foot is the shock absorber. It absorbs the shock of that impact, and then it should use it like a spring and spring off. So it collects the movement energy, then it should spring it off if your arch of your foot and your big toe function properly. But what happens in plantar fasciitis, we have a little bit of a dysfunction because either the arch of the foot or the big toe or both of them are not doing their job properly. They're not strong enough, or then a bit too tight. Okay, this time as we pull into a 7 out of 10, what we're going to do with the big toe, we're going to push the big toe into the hand and slowly bring it back to that starting point. So again, we're using the muscle, and then release. Pull the toe, and then you're trying to sort of pull the big toe back to the starting point. So you're trying to pull the big toe out of the finger, if that makes sense. And then release. So you pull the big toe into the stretch, and then you're trying to pull the big toe back into the starting point without moving the foot. It's just the toe, which again, it can feel quite frustrating to really focus just on the big toe. It can feel like, oh, I've not really got really know how to do that. And again, that's a good sign and indication that the nervous system, so the brain and the nerves that activate the muscle, are not firing properly, not working properly. So we need to keep firing them to get that signal working more efficiently. Okay, and then just release. So again, we should be feeling a lot going on in the arch of the foot and the big toe muscle there. Is that right? Okay, let's go left ankle area, same thing. Pull the big toe into a 7, 7.5 stretch, then release. We're just starting with the stretch and release, and then we'll add in the strengthening of that big toe. Breathe, again, nice and slow. Don't be too aggressive. Don't yank the big toe, and don't push or yank it past the 7 out of 10. Because you could quite easily overstretch and damage the tissues of your body. Breathe. So again, these are the type of sessions that I get my clients to do every single week when I coach them online. If you want to know what it's like to have a 7-day structured program, there's a free 7-day exclusive video program. Have a look in the link in the description below, and also the coaching options in there. Or if you're on a TV watching this, you can have a look at runbetterwithash.com and have a look at the different programs and coaching options. And I can help you run better. That's what I do, that's my passion. All of this type of specific work helps us be more injury resilient. Okay, and then release. Okay, and just have a little bit of a wiggle of those toes. Now what we're going to do is we're going to massage the arch of the foot. Just again, if it's feeling quite tight, we're just going to break up some of that tightness with some movement. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring the thumbs and we're just going to massage the arch of the foot. So where the ball of the big toe to the heel, where we might be feeling some discomfort in that plantar fascia, we're just going to press those thumbs up and down, nice and smooth. Again, not too aggressively, but if your arch of your foot is feeling a bit tense, if that plantar fascia is a bit tense and a bit stiff, movement and massage helps smooth it out, make it a little bit warmer and looser. Again, a little bit more elastic. It gets some lubrication into the area. So self-massage or massage from a therapist is really important. And it's a really good tool to utilize. So we're just up and down the arch. And you can just gently come into the inside. and then work your way back all the way through up towards where the big toe is. Again, just with that mindset of, if you find any stiffness, if you extra little points that feel a bit stiffer or a bit more stuck or tender, just work into that little spot, like just really sort of focus in on that one spot for 5 to 10 seconds. Sort of break it up a little bit. Breathe. And then come back to the centre and stretch the legs out nice and long and feel the difference between the right foot and the left foot. What do you notice? Okay, let's do the same thing on the other side. So bring the left foot in. Again, thumbs into the arch of the foot. So from the heel all the way through the arch. It feels so good. It should feel really nice. So the ball of the big toe just underneath and then back down. And then again, we can just start in a straight line. And then we can slowly move into the middle and then back out again as we just work our way through the arch. And just notice, is this side stiffer or about the same as the other one, or is it less stiff than the other one? Is this one more tender or less so, or about the same? So again, every session that we do, it's a learning opportunity, it's an understanding, it's feedback. We get feedback and we can make decisions on what our body needs. Maybe the left foot is more weak and it needs a little bit longer, it needs a little bit more extra time compared to the right. Again, that might not be the case, but it might be, and that we can only figure that out by doing this type of session, doing it all the work that we do in recovery and in preparation as well. So during our strength work, our stretching, pre-warm-ups, our post-run cool-downs and stretching as well. It's all learning. We don't just do it mindlessly. If you can listen, you can learn a lot about your body and what you need to work on and improve. Keep breathing. Okay, and then just stretch those legs out nice and long. Again, feeling the after effects. Okay, and then we're going to come onto your knees now. And now we're going to stretch and flex the big toe, especially again, but also all of the other toes. Tuck the toes under. Now, this can get uncomfortable for some runners. And I've worked with a lot of runners that do really struggle with this. So you don't ever push into pain. So toes and knees might get uncomfortable depending on what your body is going to respond to this like. So be conscious and listen to your body. Don't just do what my body is doing. Slowly go back. If you get pain, stop at any point. But if you can go hips to heels. Again, it took me a lot of continuous practice to get to this. But I regularly do this. So you should be feeling a good stretch in those toes. Now push into the toes and slowly rock forwards. And then come back again, hips towards the heels. Again, you can just hover the hips if you're getting pain. Push into the toes and rock forwards, nice and slow. So we're getting that really good stretch and flex. Bring the hips back, and we're just continuing to do that forwards and backwards, nice and slow. So we're stretching and strengthening, again, the areas of the big toe and the arch of the foot that will help strengthen and support that plantar fascia. Keep breathing as we do this. So if you have enjoyed this session, just give it a thumbs up. Maybe share it with somebody that is suffering from a foot issue or plantar fasciitis in particular. Again, we're getting the message out there. Lots more runners are really coming on board and starting to do the work that they should be doing with the stretching and with the mobility, with the strength work to avoid injuries. So well done for showing up for this session. Again, you can get that free 7-day program from the link in the description below, or having a look at runbetterwithash.com. We're going to come forwards and then slowly bring the feet down. Just have a little bit of a wiggle. Come onto your bum and feel the after effects again. So there's a lot of work gone on there. How does it feel? How do your feet feel? So well done. So this, again, you can do this maybe once, twice a week. Give it a little bit of a rest in between, but a fantastic session that's going to help create resilience and strength in your feet, in your foundations, with every single step we make. So well done for being here and putting that work into your body. And I shall see you in the next video.